You are live. Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to another edition of the Kingdom Fundraisers Live. I am Pastor Willie, your host. I'm here with you each and every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time here in the United States, depending on where you are around the world. You might log on at a different time of the day, or you might catch the video recording, and we want to welcome you and thank you for doing that. I've got some great information. Every week I try to give you some things that you can use. You can use as tools to build your organization or to learn more about fundraising and grant writing. And we do all we can to provide some information that's going to help you become the best at what you can do. And I'm very grateful to you for tuning in. I've been getting some good feedback. I want to remind all of you to go to my Facebook page or go to my YouTube channel. You're going to see these links coming up real soon. We want to just make sure we do that with you all. Good morning, Brother Mark, TGIF. Thank God it's Faith Friday. And it's good to see you all, see you with us again today. I want to remind everybody, look, you can go to my YouTube channel. I'm going to give you that link here in a little bit. You can go to my webpage, wepeatinc.com. You can DM me on the Facebook channel, and we want to make sure you connect to those links so that you can ask the pertinent or the important questions that are for you so that you can build your organization, or in fact, you can learn how to do what I do yourself. You can learn how to grant write. You can learn how to fundraise. You can learn the difference in grant writing and fundraising and how that might impact what you're doing for your organization. Whether you are new or a startup, what we like to do is help your organization go from startup to sustainability. We also like to help you get your vision off of the paper and onto the pavement. And that way we can help. We do that by assessing your organization. We look at your model, your vision, and we assess that. And then we match that assessment with the right funder who will help fund your organization. When we say we'll match that, because we want to remind each of you that there are funders out there who want to fund your vision. But we have to match them with what you want to do. If you're doing youth programming, you can just say to somebody, I'm doing youth programming, but it's really more than that. Are you doing after school programming? Are you doing childcare programming? Are you doing mental health programming? Are you doing food programming? We want to assess your organization so that you can qualify for the funding resources that you're looking for. Once we review your organization like that, then we match that vision with funders who are out there. And that, keep in mind, those funders tell you in their annual report or the reports that they do, they let you know what type of organization they fund. And so we match your vision with what they're already funding. And what does that do? Once we can do so, we qualify you for what they want to do. Now we can help you create a consistent cash flow. Now, I just want to know who out there can use a consistent cash flow. How many of you all can use some dollars? Raise your hand. I know I can. My organization can. We can use more all the time. In fact, I've been on a session today from 10 to 11 o'clock with funding here in the area that we're living in for specific funding, for example, for opioids. We were looking at funding for youth, and we're looking for funding for low-income families. That was from 10 to 11 today. And what we did was on a webinar seminar to understand how the city is offering those monies. What are they doing them for? So we take the qualifications of the organization. We match that with what the city wants to fund. Does that make sense? And in doing so, we do that a lot of ways. And what we want to do is offer you some ways each and every week that will help you do just that. And so remember, you can get these videos. They're there every week right here on my official YouTube channel, YouTube/Ask Pastor Willie. And then you can slash videos, and you can get all of the videos and go back and study them for yourself. Maybe you want to just connect with me and find out what everything we're doing. You can check my bio of information on Linktree. That's linktr.ee/Pastor Willie. And there you can find all of the links to you can get my Facebook page. You can get my LinkedIn. You can go to all of the things that we do together, my webpage, and will help you connect to me one way or the other so that we can help you become the organization that you believe you can do so. And then my official website again is www.wepeatinc.com. Now you can go to my website. You can look for a link that will take you to a free gift. And that free gift is the 10 mistakes that fundraisers make. It helps you get some information to look at. Well, maybe I've done that before, and maybe I don't want to do that. And then you can also schedule a strategy session with me. You can get your first free strategy session so we can begin to talk about how to link you with the type of work that we do so that we can help you qualify for the funding that I know you're looking for. So whether it's through fundraising, speaking engagements, or partnership, you can click to the link, connect with me today so that we can go and become the organization. I can help you become the organization that you so desire to do. I have fun week after week. I'm talking to individuals like yourself who have questions about fundraising or grant writing. These last few weeks, we've been talking about the difference in the two. Again, there's a YouTube. You go to my YouTube. You need to subscribe to my YouTube channel in order to get those links. And subscribe to the YouTube channel and allow me to help you understand those differences. And then once you understand the differences, then we begin to look at the tools that you need so that you can qualify. Just because you have an idea or a vision and maybe even have your own organization does not necessarily qualify you for fundraising. What you have to do is have all of your ducks in a row. How many of you all have ever been out there and applied for a loan or even a grant for schools to go to college? There's a checklist of questions that they ask. Grant funders, they do the same thing, rather it's national, federal, state, local, foundations, banks. Even if you're just writing to Walmart to get one of those $2,000 to $5,000 grants from Walmart, they're going to ask you questions. And you need to be able to answer those questions specifically. I enjoyed that seminar today because the lady going over that seminar kept saying over and over again, when you respond to these questions, you need to be specific and direct. Specific and direct. You can't put I want to do or can I, shoulda, woulda, coulda. You need to be specific about what you're going to do and how you're going to spend their money, how you're going to report or evaluate what you've already done. There's so many things that we want to help you understand that you need to do to qualify for funding. And so when you connect with me at WePete Inc. or my DM me on my Facebook page, and we have our first session together, one of the first things I'm going to always ask you, what would you do with the money? By the way, I have an assessment. I'm more than happy to connect with you, send you the assessment that helps you align yourself with the type of things that we can do for you. We're working with, just recently had a conversation with an individual pastor down in Miami, and they're looking to do some things for their church and organization. And then asking those qualifying questions, they have their church information together, but the nonprofit side, he said, well, should I do it that way? Yes, you need to separate your church functions from the nonprofit side by creating a CDC, Community Development Corporation, or some form of nonprofit entity to separate the money that you receive from a funder from the money you use for churches. And so with a different EIN number, with a separate bank account, and all of those things that allow that organization, that nonprofit organization, to sustain itself. And so we are able to help a person go all the way from that level, from the local to state to national level, so that again, you qualify for funding. And so when a funder asks the questions, can you do this? What would you do with it? And how would you report it? Those are really the main three things that they're going to know. What would you do with it? How much do you need? What would you do with the funding that I give you? What is your program? What is your program model? What is the narrative? That's the first thing. Then how much do you need and what would you do with it? And then how do you show me that you accomplished that, your outcomes and those things, which is kind of what we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. One of those things that when I was working at Youngstown State University back in Ohio, one of the things that we were teaching in the class, I'm a social worker. I was teaching in the social work department. And one of those classes was called Communities and Organizations. And we were showing communities and organizations, both for and nonprofit, primarily nonprofit organizations, how they can make an impact with the services that they want to supply. So there was a litany of material that we offered in that class, that 16-week class, 14 to 16-week class. And one of those things that I gave that was probably 2 pages in my 200 plus page book was about a logic model. I talked to that a lot of organizations and I asked them about a logic model, and you would be surprised. Many of them are not aware of what a logic model is. So today, I want to give you what a logic model is. In a few minutes, I want to try to help you. I got a lot on it because, again, I've been teaching this for over 15 years. People say, well, what qualifies you? I can tell you now, 15 plus years of teaching this on the college level, yes, I'm qualified. I've been doing it as a nonprofit manager for well over 25 years. Yes, I'm qualified. We've raised $500,000 and more every year for our nonprofit, every year for over 25 years. I would say that I'm qualified. I've helped other organizations around the country raise funds for their organization. Yes, I think I'm a little bit qualified. I don't say that to brag. I say that because you want to find someone who can help you go from startup to sustainability, who can help you get your vision off of paper onto the pavement. And you want people that you can trust. And so you want to get someone's background in what they've already done. And so my history of doing this as a nonprofit manager, executive, starter, we started our own organization, teaching it on the college level even more than that, has allowed me to have the information that I can use to help you and many other organizations out there, again, become sustainable. It was interesting today, yesterday, maybe last night, I was going through some emails and some things that people were sending me. And I'm noticing, Brother Mark and others, that there are a lot of organizations now using the term sustainable. Well, I couldn't patent the term because it's in the dictionary, but one of those things is my goal is to help you become sustainable, startup to sustainability and everything in between, so that when you get your vision off that paper and you're moving, you know, at the end of every year when a funder wants their report, you're able to give that report, do your 990s to the federal government and be consistent with those things and be able to keep your organization funded and operating and providing that service that you created the organization or you joined another existing organization because you had a heart for mental health, you had a heart for drug and alcohol prevention or helping people in those matters. You had a heart for the homeless. You had a heart for children or youth or adults in low income. Maybe you want to do housing. You had a heart for those things. And so you began to work within organizations that were already doing it, or you created your own. And we at Kingdom Fundraisers and we PD, all we want to do is help you get to your destiny. I say it like that because that's the goal, is to help you get to your destiny, to go from startup to sustainability and to grow your business in a way that you can maximize those services that you want to operate in. So now, today I want to have a little conversation with you about specifically what I call a logic model, an organizational logic model. As I said, back when I was teaching at the university level, that was one of the tools that we used in order to help an organization. We were teaching those students of mine who were going to work in nonprofit areas or going to work for a nonprofit, that they would understand how to be able to maximize the ability for fundraising with that organization. Now, what is an organization logic model? An organization logic model is simply a visual tool that outlines relationships between your resources, activities, output, outcomes of the program. Again, it's a visual tool that outlines your relationship between your resources, activities, outputs, outcomes of the program. And it helps organizations plan, implement, and evaluate your initiatives systematically. The role of a logic model in planning and evaluation. Well, what is the role? I'm glad you asked. The logic model helps clarify the program's goals. It identifies necessary resources, maps out the action to achieve those goals, and evaluates the success and impact of that program. It provides a clear framework for understanding how activities lead to desired outcomes. So what we're trying to do is help that larger model, help you. We use it in planning and evaluating. When you look at your program, you look at the resources that your program has. And we do it in sections. You look at the resources, we write that out. You can list them, you bullet point them. Here are the resources we have in order to do youth development or job training. Then we take the resources. Now we map out the actions that we want to achieve here. Or here are the goals that we want to achieve with these resources. We want to get them from here to there. Then we evaluate the success and the impact of that, which helps us again have a framework for understanding how those activities lead to the outcomes. And oftentimes I recommend you want to have a 1, 3, 5 year series of outcomes, short term, midterm, and long term. Well, what is it? How does that benefit some of us as faith-based organizations? Because trust me, most of us in faith-based organizations, especially new ones, are not really clear on what a logic model is and what does it do? How does it do? Well, and by the way, I'm putting together a course on this so that you will be able to go online and get this course, because today I'm really giving you an overview. And so in this 30 minutes, it's going to be difficult for you to gather all of this. But here, the logic model, as it relates to working with you all as faith-based organization, it helps you align your programs with your mission. And remember, in organizational development, I'm always talking about aligning your mission, outlining your mission, understanding your mission, and then managing those resources that you have effectively. And then we measure your program's effectiveness, ensuring that the efforts that you're putting out there to achieve your desired impact and the support of the community goal that you already have. Now, what are the components of a logic model? This is very important. The components are inputs, activities, outputs, and outcomes. These four things. Remember this, y'all. Your components of a logic model are your inputs, which are your resources, your activities, which is your process, outputs, which is the product, and then the outcomes, the impact. I'm going to go through that one more time. The components of a logic model are your inputs, which are your resources. What resources are needed? Then your activities or the process. What action will be taken? Third, outputs or the products. What are the immediate results? And then your outcomes or the impact. What are the short-term, intermediate, and long-term changes? Let me break that down. For inputs, what resources are needed? Well, inputs are the resources required to implement your program. What does it take to get it done? Staff, pencil and paper, whatever. What does it take to get this program done? Including funding, staff, volunteers, facilities, material. Your inputs. These are the resources that you have to work on. Got that? Then you have the activities, the processes. What outcome will be taken? Activities are the specific action or process undertaken to achieve your program goals, such as what workshops are you going to do? How about counseling sessions, or what the type of community events you're going to do? What activities are you going to do to help you accomplish the goals that you plan to do? How about Your output, which is number 3, the product. What are your immediate results? Outputs are the direct products or services delivered by your program. What are you going to specifically do, such as the number of training sessions conducted or the number of participants served? Everybody wants to know that answer. What are the specific direct products or services that you're going to deliver for your program, such as the number of training sessions that you're going to conduct? You're going to have this many classes, you're going to have this many students in the class, and here's what we want to do, which is your final word: outcome, impact that's going to be made. What are the short-term, intermediate, or long-term changes? Outcomes are the changes and benefits resulting from your program. Your outcome, again, are your changes or benefits resulting from your program. If you've had 20 children in your tutoring program, how many of those 20 children changed? They went from reading grade level 3 to 4 or 3 to 5. What changes were made? That's the outcome. Short-term outcomes might include increased knowledge or skill. Your intermediate outcome might involve behavior changes, or long-term outcomes reflect the broader impact on communities, such as the improvement of the quality of life. Now, that's a whole lesson within itself, y'all, the components of a logic model. Go back and hear these over again. Begin to take the program that you're working with and start writing them down. Here's the input. Here's the activity. Here's the output. Here are my outcomes. Go back and revisit this video so that you can understand the components of a logic model, because I promise you, if you get this right, you're more likely to qualify for your funding, because these are the answers to many of the questions that you're going to do. Let me help by saying it this way: the importance of your logic model as it relates to your organization. One is it helps in strategic planning. How do logic models help defining your goals and strategies? Well, the logic model provides a structured way to articulate your program goals, align your strategies with those goals, and ensure that all of your activities are designed to achieve a desired outcome. They help in setting clear objectives and planning effectively. So we use a logic model even in strategic planning. We align those activities with organizational missions and goals. All of your organizations ought to have a mission and goal. The mission of the former organization we had was to help disadvantaged families towards self-sufficiency. And we use our logic model to align what we were doing with that vision, with that mission. Another thing that the logic model does for you, or the importance of it, is program implementation. Using a logic model to guide program development and execution. They serve as a roadmap to develop and implementing programs, ensuring that all necessary steps are taken and the resources are utilized effectively to achieve the desired results. It helps you identify and allocate resources effectively. They help in they help in pinpointing the exact resources needed and allocating them appropriately, reducing wasteful time, wasteful energy, and improving program efficiency. How about evaluation and improvement? All of your programs need to be evaluated at some point. Every so often, doing a survey with your clients lets you know how good you're doing. Nowadays, almost everything we do online. I'll give a good example. You can be online with one of your cell phone companies, and by the time you get off the phone with the cell phone company, they ask you to stay online for a survey. Why? So that they can know how well they're doing. So it helps them evaluate or improve their services. Well, you as a nonprofit, for-profit organization need to do the same thing periodically, is evaluate your services for improvement. A logic model helps you measure your success and identify areas of improvement. And utilizing that helps you get feedback to enhance your program impact. Sometimes you're doing services for people that they don't need. You're wondering why you're not getting anybody to come on board. It's because you're doing something, or you may be duplicating the service that's going on further down the road, and they're already in that. At the end, if what's the difference in your youth program and the youth program going on at the church around the corner? Do something different, and your logic model can help you evaluate that. Let me give you one more thing, and then I'm going to save some of this for next time. How to create a logic model. You want to identify your inputs. We talked about these things already. You want to identify your inputs. What resources do you need? Resources include financial support, human resources like staff and volunteers, physical resources like building and equipment, and informational resources like data and resource. Okay. Examples. Well, for a faith-based organization, an input might include donations, volunteers, religious facilities, and community partnerships. So those are some of the things that are resources you can use specifically as a faith-based organization. You want to be how to create a logic model. You want to define your activities. What are you going to do? What core actions and processes will be undertaken? Activities might include organizing community events. At the church, every year we would do for at least a week, 2 times a year, 2 weeks out of our summer program, we would have summer camp. In the morning, it would be sports activity. In the evening, would be Bible studies. We would provide food for them in the evening, snacks and things like that. And we were able to evaluate our successes, right? Core activities, organizing community events, conducting training sessions, providing counseling, and distributing, distributing food. These can be some type of activities. All right. How about outlining your outputs? We talked about your outputs. Outputs include the number of workshops you would hold, or participants served, or material distributed. The metrics for measuring them could include attendance, how many people came, the quantity of resources that you provided, or the frequency of the program activity. Then you go to the next step, which was your outcome. We talked about these things, these 4 things. Here they go. The last one is outcome: short term, immediate, and long term. What immediate changes or benefits are expected? Short term outcome might include increased participation, or the knowledge, improve skills, enhance community engagement. Intermediate outcomes: what behavior or organizational changes are anticipated? They could involve behavior such as adopting new practices or improve program participation. You have someone who wasn't consistent coming last year. This year, they're coming more. Long term, what ultimate impact and goals are aimed for? Long-term outcomes might include sustained community improvement, increased overall well-being, and long-term behavior. And so those are the things that I wanted to give you. I want to remind you, go back, join my YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can go back and watch this video. It'll be online on my Facebook page for a few days, but we're now beginning to go and log everything intentionally to the YouTube channel so that you can be a part of that. So don't forget to join. Don't forget to log into my YouTube channel here. Go there, subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can get these videos and all of them so that you can increase your capacity by understanding, first of all, what a logic model is and what a logic model can do for you. I promise you, if you get this, it'll take you a long way. So again, I want to thank you for joining me. I'm Pastor Willie. I look forward to being available to help you. Also, go to my website, repeating.com. Download your free guide, 10 mistakes that fundraisers make. Schedule your call with me. Let's have a conversation about how we can help you implement your logic model and help you go from startup to sustainability and help you get your vision off of the paper and onto the pavement. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week.